Okay, dear students, so in the last class, we get some idea about what is called psychoinformatics and why do we learn psychoinformatics in applied psychometrics. Now, in applied psychometrics, our main purpose is to solve the problem based upon our psychometric data. Now, in the classical approach, we are following some hypothesis. And based upon the hypothesis, we are designing our research problem, our sampling, results and discussion, everything based upon our hypothesis. Now, currently we observed that there are some issues which are not systematically happening. They are discrete in nature. They are random in nature. And a researcher has no control over the events. So in that condition, we cannot follow the classical model because classical model assumes that everything happens systematically. Everything is linearly related. Therefore, based upon our observation or based on the literature review, we can frame the hypothesis. But recently, we have observed that there are some data on which researcher has no control. And the data are coming randomly. For example, in case of the analysis of data available in Google search engine, available in Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram, etc. WhatsApp. So the social media based data, that is random. Even when we are studying the qualitative data, for example, the text, or maybe the songs composed by Rabindranath Tagore, we cannot follow the classical approach. Therefore, In this situation, we have to follow other approach. That is the data-driven approach. There will be no hypothesis. Now, once upon a time, I observed that per capita income is not related to the literacy level. Specifically in case of the northeastern states of India. Therefore, I thought that what are the underlying reasons? So can we think about the reading and writing motivation of the tribal children? Therefore, I went to Tripura, and at that time, there was a high level of terrorism. Insurgency was there. So to understand the mind of tribal children, I find a lot of the difficulties. But still, my intention is to explore the mindset of the tribal children. So I went to the village where regularly murder was going on. I went there and I told the tribal children to draw whatever comes to their mind. And I collected all the data, and finally I analyzed the data by developing some new codes in considering the theories. And my research paper has been published in the JIAAP and also one paper in the Tribal Research Journal. Now, in another context, I was told by the Rutgers University to validate one computer adaptive training program. And then I analyze their data following the psychoinformatics approach. The psychoinformatics has 5 stages broadly. First one is the data reservoir. Second is the data lake or data pond. Third is the data cleaning. Fourth is the data mining. Fifth is the pattern recognition. Sixth is the discovery of knowledge. So 6 stages are there. Or you can think of the 5 stages if you avoid the data pond or data lake. Now I am requesting Farah to share the PPT. So Farah,
Yes,
can
sir.
you share the PPT
Yes,
one
sir.
by one?
Yes.
Hmm. Earlier, nobody has any idea about psychoinformatics. So first time I conceptualized psychoinformatics. And I presented one workshop in Europe. Yeah, slowly. Okay. Now here you can find out 2 approaches in research. One is the hypothesis driven, that is given by Aristotle. Another was the data driven approach suggested by Plato. And also you can find the data driven approach by the Florence Nightingale during the Crimean War. Next. And if you study Rabindranath Tagore's song, you will find that is the songs carry data-driven philosophy, data-driven approach. And Tagore tried to understand the consciousness, which is random in nature. That means Tagore has followed the data-driven philosophy. One sec. বলুন কোথায় আছেন? Second product. Yeah. In case of the Plato believed that nature was unpredictable and random, and that the only way to understand it was through careful observation and data collection. Plato believed that knowledge was gained through experience, and that understanding came through analyzing the data that was collected. But in case of the Aristotle believed that nature operates systematically and follows certain laws, which can be observed and understood through careful observation. He believed that natural phenomena have a purpose and that everything in the universe has a specific role to play in the grand scheme of things. Aristotle argued that by understanding the natural world, we can gain knowledge and insight into the workings of the universe. So this is the basic difference between the assumption of Plato and Aristotle related to the data. Next. Yeah, since it is hypothesis-driven approach, therefore, researcher can think about the experimental design where experimenter can control the stimulus as well as tools and the responses. But in case of the data-driven approach, the assumption is that discovery of knowledge by response pattern recognition based on data mining and data were retrieved from warehouse. Now, if you think about Freud's model of psychoanalysis, there you will find the free-floating ideas. That means ideas are coming randomly. And Jung, the student of Freud, suggested word association technique to understand the underlying conflicts related to the free-floating ideas. So this is the data-driven approach. Next. Yeah, hypothesis-driven research, that is the standard prison experiment, and non-hypothesis-driven research, that is the interpretation of dreams by Freud. Next. Yeah, due to rapid change in information archiving system, researcher is getting access to the randomized data warehouse. This is not developed out of researcher's own intention. For example, in different blogs and virtual social networks, regularly many messages are posted. Researcher can mine the data to discover specific variable for research. It uses computer database to store, retrieve, and assist in understanding psychological information. Data warehouse, data retrieving, data mining, pattern recognition, and discovery of knowledge are 5 basic principles of psychoinformatics. Next. Yeah, these are the principles of psychoinformatics. I have already discussed. Next. This is discussed. Next. Here you will find very interesting thing. I have already told you that is the Facebook is the data warehouse for sentiment analysis. Facebook generates random data. Here is a statement. Mother's Day is coming. Confused about the gift. Any idea? I posted this question in Facebook at 9:42 p.m. First response came at 9:51 p.m. Next 9:52, 9:54, 10:21 p.m., 3:43 a.m., 7:32 a.m., 7:32 a.m., 7:36 a.m. Continued. This suggests that the statement is able to generate data speedily. If we analyze the content, we will see two principal components. One is tangible, that is cooking food, coffee mug, and another is intangible, that is outing with mother, spending time with mom. The tangible gift is suggested by unemployed juniors, age range from 22 to 25 years, and intangible is suggested by employed seniors, 30 to 35 years. So what I have noticed that the data are basically classified. Initially, data were in the data warehouse, and I cleaned the data because there are many data. I cleaned the data, and finally, whatever the data came, I carefully studied those data, and I observed two principal components. One is tangible, other one is intangible. So that is the pattern recognition. And discovery of knowledge is unemployed juniors, they suggested tangible gift, but the employed seniors, they suggested intangible gift. So that is the discovery of knowledge. Okay. Next. Yeah, this is the digitized data retrieval. It is the process of selecting valuable data based on query in the database. There are some cross-database search engines like Entrage in the internet. So Entrage is one search engine. And in that search engine, if you write down any particular topic, you will get how many researches are already conducted by the different authors. So this is the digitized data retrieval. Next. Yeah. Now here is a problem. Problem lies here, that is sometimes psychiatrists, they are confused related to the classification.
Absolutely.
Okay. And you know that is Mexico, China, they developed their own psychiatric nosology. But India does not have any psychiatric nosology. So once upon a time, I was thinking that is there any overlapping related to the complaints and the classification. So if there is any overlapping, so can I identify? Therefore, I studied Kaplan, the Handbook of Psychiatry, and then I wrote these psychiatric disorders with some code. And again, I wrote the complaints. I assigned some codes for all of them. And then I get the data that is 10. How 10? Because if the individual is suffering from anxiety disorder, so that individual will get 1. And in other cases, that will be the 0. In this manner, I get 1, 0 type data. So all the data will be the binary data. And then go to the next stage. Yeah, before data mining, cleaning is made to fit the data according to the assumption of specific statistical tools to be used. This includes missing data, unreliable or faulty data, data entry errors, outlier, etc. After data mining, using statistical tools, data are cleaned when data provide unreliable information or information that can affect the model validity. Items are removed when it cannot be fitted, and rescoring is done after removing the item. Next. Yeah, I've done the data mining. Data mining is an analytic process designed to explore data in search of consistent patterns and a systematic relationship between variables, and then to validate the findings by applying the detected patterns to new subset of data. So when there will be the data, your function will be to classify the data. So therefore, I have done the classification, and this classification I have done using the correspondence analysis. So can you show the next one, the figure? Yeah, so this is the final model. This is the correspondence analysis. And this correspondence analysis provides me some knowledge about classification of the symptoms as well as the classification of psychiatric disorders. And my intention is to find out whether the classified psychiatric disorders include classified complaints or not. So if you look at this particular area, you will find they are the psychotic features. This is very close to the schizophrenia. Here you can find out the suspiciousness, and this is related to the manic. And you will find that is the grandiosity complaint that is based very close to the manic. So this is the classified psychiatric disorder, and this is the complaint. So if we find that is, this is the classified disorder manic, and the complaint is close to this area, then I can tell that is, there is a gap of knowledge. But I find that is the grandiosity that is close to the manic. Okay. And schizophrenia is close to the suspiciousness. And here you can find out the psychotic depression. So when it is psychotic depression, then you can find out the emotional withdrawal complaints. And here you can find out that is all the complaints, they are close to the anxiety complaint, anxiety disorder. Okay. So this is clear. But here, that is the blatant emotion, usually it will be in the psychotic category. But it is close to the neurotic category.
Sir, hallucinatory behavior is also there.
Which one?
Hallucinatory behavior.
Hallucination is close to the schizophrenia.
So it will also come under psychotic only, right?
Yeah, this group basically psychotic group. And this group is the neurotic group. So the correspondence analysis classified the data into two broad categories. One side is the psychotic, another side is neurotic. But there is only one complaint that should be under the psychotic, but this is in the neurotic depression. Okay, that means this particular complaint is very difficult for the psychiatrist to classify. And if you follow this model, then it will be very easy for you to develop the knowledge about the diagnosis of different psychiatric disorders. Now I am requesting Farah to share the paper, that is this picture drawing test that I have sent to you. Farah?
Yes, sir. Sir.
Not this one.
Yes, sir.
The paper that I have sent to you.
Sir, just now, no?
Just now.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, now this is the computer adaptive testing. Please go to the top. This is a published paper. Assessing validity of web-based computer adaptive training module. Okay, fast forward is the company, and they developed this web-based computer adaptive training module with the help of the professor in Rutgers University. And go below. And I have told you that is since it is computer adaptive, that means each individual student is exposed to different type of problems. Therefore, we cannot follow the classical statistical model. Okay. Go below. Yeah, now you go up. The participants are there. Participants in this study were 25 students of one English medium school. Here, English is the first language. Since all the instructions, now go below. Yeah, of the exercise are in English, it was assumed that students could follow the instruction of the program properly. And school authorities agreed to fulfill the set of criteria for selection of school. The criteria were arrangement of broadband system. And I am telling that when I have done this research, at that time, we do not have any internet. Okay. We do not have any internet. During that time, we have done this research. And this is the first forward. And these are the professors. That is Michael Marchenik, Bill Jenkins from the University of California at San Francisco, and Professor Paula Talal and Stephen Miller, experts on the neurological basis of language at Rutgers University. Okay, and there are the training modules. It includes the 7 training modules. Go below. Yeah. So this is the module. One is the circus sequence. The task is student heard a series of short nonverbal tones. Each tone represents different fragment of the frequency spectrum used in spoken language. Students are asked to differentiate between these tones. Another one is the OM, that is Old MacDonald's Flying Farm. Students use the computer mouse to catch and hold a flying animal. The animal repeats a single syllable several times, and students must release the animal when they hear a change in the syllable. So these are some of the tasks, and this is the exercise or the training module name. And these are the benefits of each module. It helps to improve listening accuracy, and it helps to improve the phonological awareness. Go below. So now you will find several other tests like phoneme identification, word exercise, phonic match, and the phonic words. And you will find that it is validated that it helps to improve working memory, listening accuracy, phonological awareness, and auditory word recognition. Go below. Yeah, go below. Okay, since it is not possible to do any sort of classical data analysis, therefore I have used the box whisker plot. Go below. Yeah, now you can find out that this training module, it follows the systematic approach. Okay, because with trials, students' performance is increasing. So this is the observation. So this is the data-driven approach. This is the box whisker plot of CS. Next. Yeah, but here in this particular model, that is the PW exercise, you will find that is the median is not increasing. Here you will find the median gradually increasing. Okay, here. But in this particular case, you will find that is the median is not increasing. Median is increasing in this way. After that, it decreases. That means when the difficulty level is increasing, the student's performance that is decreasing. Similar thing happens this particular test also. But in this particular test, you will find that is the median that is gradually increasing, and after certain level, suddenly it falls. Okay. So based upon that, I have developed the theory about why and what are the underlying reasons for the failure in the case. So this is the standard deviation wise differences. So here you can find out the proficiency, mean differences in proficiency across tasks. Again, the mean differences in proficiency, high performer and the less performer. So you will find that is the difference. Here the difference is very high in comparison with this difference. Okay, they are very close, high and low performer. But in this exercise, high and low performer, their performance differs. Next. Yeah, here you will find, here please, PI. PI exercise you will find that is, this is the difference between the means. Okay, the difference between the means that is also decreasing. That means this particular test is very difficult. Okay, similarly, this is the test where you can find out high performer and the low performer, their difference is less. Okay, here you will again find the difference between the two groups, it is decreasing. That means this particular test is very difficult. Now go below. So in this manner, yeah, so this is basically the data-driven approach because I do not have any hypothesis, nothing. So I have analyzed the data and their pattern. And based upon that, I identified that is which computer adaptive test is very difficult for the Indian student in comparison with the US student. And I submitted this data to them. They appreciated finally. So that means when you cannot do any traditional statistical model, then you can think about the psychoinformatics. So this is my suggestion to you. Okay. So when you will find random data, at that time you can use the psychoinformatics. Psychoinformatics covers psychology, information science, as well as the statistics. Okay. when I extracted the classification of different Rabindric values that I extracted from Rabindra Sangit. So Rabindra Sangit is the data reservoir. And I collected the data based upon that some assumption. And then I coded all of the data. And finally, I did the cluster analysis. And based upon that, I classified Rabindra Sangit in terms of different classified values. So these are the approaches that you can follow, because in near future, you will face action research, where you will get large number of data, but that data does not have any systematic variation. At that time, you have to think about psychoinformatics. Okay.
So just one question. When
Sure.
recruitment is happening now at, such large scales, so, we get data for maybe 1,000 people for a leadership, thing. So the screening that happens, that's what is the mining. That means the important keywords, if they are missing in terms of their qualification or their work experience or whatever, automatically that they are screened out, and only the ones which are very specific and fulfill the requirement of what the organization is looking for. So would that also be an example of psychoinformatics?
Sure,
So
sure.
Okay.
There you can follow the psychoinformatics, because the data are random in nature.
Yeah,
You do not have
exactly.
anything, any complaint, anything. You do not have any control over their biodata.
Yes. Okay.
So you
So the
can
search,
follow the
yeah, these monster and other recruitment organizations could be using that, no? That's how they start
yeah.
fitting and sizing up that this seems to be the appropriate profile for this, for this candidature or for that organization.
Correct. That is possible.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Psychoinformatics is highly appreciated. At that time, I do not have the such type of computer access, and so I observed a lot of the difficulties during that time. Now it becomes easy. Now you can machine learning, artificial intelligence model. But at that time, I do not have any concept about the machine learning, AI, nothing. I got the data and I studied the data thoroughly. And suddenly it came to my mind, that is the classical model, that is the ANOVA or MANOVA, whatever the things are there. I cannot use statistical assumption, I cannot fulfill. At that time, I was thinking about the data quality. So I gave lecture on the data quality, how to analyze the data quality, and when you will find that is your data does not have any good data quality, at that time, what will you do? So all those things came to my mind. And finally, I went to Mysore, and there was one informatics center. I met the head of the department and I presented my data, analysis, etc., everything. I asked Madam, can I think it is psychoinformatics? Because you were telling about the econo informatics. Madam is dealing with the economy informatics at that time. So Madam has said yes, because your data is psychological data. Therefore, you can easily tell it's psychoinformatics. And then I published paper on psychoinformatics. I gave lecture in Bhopal, I think in Indian Institute of Forest Management or Bhopal University, cannot remember now. Another lecture I gave in NEET, Raurkella. There I gave lecture. And I gave lecture on psychoinformatics in Lahore, Pakistan. And I published some research paper after that. So I hope that is in near future when you will be in trouble, particularly in case of the action research, what Dr. Nimrat is telling, that is the action research. So in the action research, you can do the psychoinformatics approach. Okay. Okay, thank you, students. Now I have to close. Anjali, Barsha, any question?
No, sir.
Okay, so it is.
Sir, sorry, sir. Sir, I
Yes,
have
Anjali.
one, just like I wanted a clarification. No, like a doubt I have. I'm finding it difficult that I understood that psychoinformatics is like kind of we are not um systematically collecting data, right?
Correct.
So but psychoinformatics could all can it also be considered a kind of qualitative research if we are talking about it, or
No,
is
no,
it a
no,
different?
no, it cannot be considered as the qualitative because it is totally based
Okay,
upon the statistical modeling. It is totally
okay.
quantitative.
So because we are
Statistical modeling is there, no?
okay, yeah.
Statistical modeling is
But sir,
there.
like when we do, like suppose in qualitative later on after collecting data which are in qualitative format, and we when we try to present it, we don't exactly use the statistics, but we like kind of group these things, or so in that way is it similar also, like we can compare and contrast on that basis, can we or not?
No, that is totally qualitative assumption. But I do
Okay,
not have any qualitative assumption. I have totally quantitative assumption.
okay. So
No,
like
It
sir.
is
for
not
example
the
when we are
qualitative.
categorizing
Yeah.
in this
They are
or
also
whatever.
categorizing. Yeah, they are
Hmm.
also categorizing.
Hmm.
And everywhere we are categorizing.
Yes,
For
yes.
example, in case of the principal component analysis, we are
Hmm.
categorizing.
Hmm.
Correspondence analysis, we are categorizing. But
Okay.
everything is based on the quantitative assumption.
Hmm.
But that quantitative assumption we cannot use ANOVA, means any of the uh, parametric or non-parametric data.
Usually we follow the non-parametric approach.
Yes. Means parametric things will not be fitting onto the
No,
database
parametric is not,
because
yes,
assumptions cannot be met fully.
correct, correct.
Hmm.
So we
Yeah.
look for non-parametric things and then we categorize and try to analyze it.
Come to try to
Yeah, yeah.
see the results. Okay, sir. And in like in how qualitative is different is just because the assumption, the kind of assumption we are making there, and then though we are categorizing, but then that is not following a statistical thing, right, sir?
We don't use much statistical things in
That's what, that is, that like that will be the difference, right? I got confused because the category thing was kind of looking similar to me. So, okay, understood.
It is basically the multivariate model.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
It is
yeah.
not the bivariate approach. It is the multivariate.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Best wishes. Good night, all
Good
of you.
night, sir.
Monalisha, Anjali, Varsha.
Good night.
Good night.